This is my first time ever doing this. I've never done a podcast, and I'm aware that as excited it is right now, I will never get excited like this ever again because it'll never be number one. Like there's a first time for this, first time for that. When was something that you experienced like first time that you're never gonna feel that same like euphoria again?
Uh, to say it live the first time.
Well, let's keep it. Yeah.
I mean, look, uh, for me, it's it's kind of like winning a title. It's the first time you never get it again. And for me, the NM title didn't mean much. The National Master title, I didn't even apply for it. In America, they just give it to you right away.
Damn. Wait. We still value the Canada. We still care about NM.
Sure, but for me, it was never on the priority. So even I always relished being the highest rated Canadian player without a title. And then in 2018, I got the FM title, and it was very exciting because throughout my chess journey, at many points I thought, okay, this is going to be the time where I quit. And already at that point, I wasn't playing that much. So I got the FM title, and I got that joy back in, went into competitive chess, and then under 2 years later, maybe a year and a half later, got the Iron title, which is what I have now.
Yeah.
And so it's the first time getting the Iron title. It's certainly going to be the last. It's kind of that singularity. And it keeps me going because I know that there's better and stronger titles ahead that I'm aiming for. But it's a moment that you'll never forget. When I both got the FM and IM title, I know exactly where it was, how I felt, the reaction that both I got and the people around me, the congratulations. And it's not like I always look back on it every day, but it was definitely a significant moment in my life.
Can you describe that feeling for the 98% of players here that will never achieve? Actually, it's probably even higher. It's like probably like 95.3% that we will never see like an FM title. Like no matter how hard we try, whether it's like our work, determination, talent, privilege to being in a country that supports chess like great, all those type of stuff. But how does it feel to I'm really interested in the IM title because I know that was something that process of stuff. So kind of bring us into that. I want to try to feel even get a glimpse of that feeling of getting it for the first time ever.
So we could talk about both. We could do the FM title first, and the FM title is a much simpler title because to get the FM title, all you need to do is get the rating 2300.
Yeah.
And I got it in 2018, so I was 19 years old. The summer of 2018 in Philadelphia International, I just crossed the rating. I remember in late 2017, or even middle 2017, so a year prior, I had basically started to lose interest in chess. I had lost a lot of rating a few years prior, and I had plateaued. I wasn't really doing well. My focus was on school, friends, and applying to university and getting in. So that FM title, it wasn't something I was always thinking about, especially because I was thinking, okay, chess is going to be on the back burner. My dad had quit chess when he was 16 years old, so I thought, okay, maybe I'll follow the same path.
Yeah.
Then I play a tournament in Chicago called the Chicago Open. I did really well there. I gained a lot of rating points. And then I played in Philadelphia. When I went into Philadelphia International, my rating was 2250, and I had basically the exact same rating as my father. We were seated actually beside each other.
Oh, wow.
We were on the last boards because we were playing the lowest rated players of the tournament. I won the first game, obviously, and then the second game, I was playing against an international master with black. I beat him, and even at that point, I wasn't really feeling like anything special was happening because I had beaten IMs before, even with the black pieces. The third game, I'm playing against a grandmaster. I lose, but then I start doing unexpectedly well, and then going into the last day, I have something like 4 out of 7. And my dad calculates that I need to win 2 games to get an IM norm. What I had also realized was that if I win those 2 games, I would cross that 2,300 mark.
Yeah.
So first game the eighth game I'm playing against an individual named Ben Lee. He's around the 2,370 FIDE mark, and very complicated game. And I'm up in exchange, and I started having flashbacks to me playing Eugene Hua just a few months prior in Guelph, just a random weekender where I was completely winning, up in exchange, rook for a knight, and I blundered a two-move fork. It was incredibly devastating. It destroyed my tournament. I went from about to win the tournament to tying for second place. And I started having flashbacks because the position started looking very similar towards the end. But I got the win.
Yeah.
And then the last round, I'm playing against Raja, who's a GM from India. And he at the time, he was an IM. And I'm playing with the black pieces. And out of the opening, I'm much worse. I sacrificed a pawn to get structural equality, but I'm just down a pawn.
Which opening was it?
It was the Roboch, the modern defense. And just an absolutely atrocious opening. I go for an unsound kingside attack. He believes in me and gives up the exchange. I trade everything, and my father had finished his game very quickly. And he comes down to see the game, and he realizes that I'm winning. You can see on his face. And it's about with to say there's a lot of pressure is there's no words that can explain it, because my father's a FIDE master, very strong player, and I'm very tense in the game. My opponent's very tense. At moments I can't even sit at the board. I'm unable to control myself. And it's really just the last few moments. When my opponent finally resigned, we shook hands. My father slapped me so hard on the back that everyone in tournament hall looked around, be like, "Yo, where did that slap come from?"
Whoa! So it was like
yeah,
and it just echoed across
exactly.
the hall. Holy crap!
Obviously, it's a great moment. Finally got the same title as my father, because he got the FM title 7 years prior, and I got my first IM norm. And because I got my first IM norm, I realized, okay, getting an IM title is realistic.
Yeah.
The advantage of becoming a FM through legitimate means is the fact that the next title is actually very close. Mm-hmm. The K factor is 20, so if you just have a few good tournaments succession, you can get to IM very quickly. To get an IM norm, you only need to get 50 points performance above your actual rate of 2,400. So it's all feasible. And in late 2018, 2019, and 2020, I started having a lot of very good tournaments. I played in the Canadian Zonal, where I got 4th place, and I got a 2,450 performance rating. That was a norm. And in Montreal, I played in a tournament where I had 6 out of 8. I needed a draw to get a norm. I lost. But even though I lost, I realized that it's all within grasp. I started gaining rating. Yeah. I just played the Ivy League tournament representing UFT. We won that. I got 5 out of 5, so I was really the main player that really took us to the finish line. Even though I only gained 20 points, again, every rating matters when you're trying to get to the title. Then, as I said, in Montreal, I gained rating despite being so close and failing. I was invited in Charlotte to play in the beginning of 2020, or was it the end of 2019? It was either December 2019 or January 2020. It was a GM norm. Funny enough, Hans Niemann had dropped out of the tournament, so I got a free spot.
We don't know who that is.
We don't know who that is. So I took a spot. I got a free entry. They offered it to me. So I paused everything. I was still in university. Yeah. And I paused everything. I was like, okay, I'll play there for a few days.
Wow, you're in university while you're doing this.
Yes. So amidst all this, it's important to note that getting the FM and IM titles, I was in university. And since then, I haven't achieved any. But okay, I'll get to that in a moment. No, I'll get to that in a moment. So I'm still in university. I'm finishing my last year, and Charlotte invites me. They say that it's free entry, and I say, okay, wow, for a GM norm, I was going to be one of the lowest rated. I had 4 out of 8. I'm playing Carissa Yip, who's a talented female from America. I'm playing with the white pieces, and I need a win, and she knows this. And throughout the game, I'm a little bit worse, and I equalize. And we're starting to trade. We're going to an end game, and I just have to go all in, because I'm risking nothing. And obviously, I push too hard and I lose. It's brutal because I have to fly back. And the worst part is, as I'm leaving, a player who shall remain nameless comes to me and he says, Mark, if I was in your position, I would be screaming I'm like, my friend, I don't want to be here right now. I just want to disappear from reality right now. I don't want to talk to you. And he's trying to put his hand on around me. He's like, Mark, it's going to be okay. I'm like, this is not the conversation I want to be having right now.
I don't know if this was a close friend of yours.
It was not.
Yeah, because you can't say that. That's even more telling. You're like trying to hold your composure. and I know a little bit of that feeling too, but it's just like, no, like get the hell away from me. Like
Exactly.
it's wrong. You know, if things happen, I had the loss. It's affected my game, and I'm going through the emotions and the twists and turns right now. Don't try and like deflate it.
Exactly. It was brutal.
And especially saying it to a competitive like.
Yeah.
It's a like imagine saying that to like any like basically like sports, like because the way I see you guys, you're all sports players. Like you are a competitive team. You actually been into worlds and stuff. You've been Olympiads. Like you are like an athlete. It's and imagine saying that to an athlete. Like
Yeah, funny enough, he was he and I believe we played in different sections, but yeah, he was trying to be compassionate. Anyway, I had already agreed to play the Oakville IM Norm tournament, and I had told myself it was during reading week, so
yeah,
I had good timing. I wasn't going to miss any time of school, and it was end of February of 2020. We'll talk about what happened after that in a second. But I'd already told myself, I'm like, I was already having all these close calls. I said in Montreal, I got 6 out of 9 instead of 6.5, which would have got the norm. In Charlotte, I was 1 game away, and it's just piling on these close calls. I told myself this is the last tournament that I'm going to be playing for a while because I already I had crossed 2400, so all I needed was the last norm. And the first round, I'm playing Eugene Hua. I'm playing the English with the white pieces, and I sacrifice a piece for 3 pawns. Very, very unclear out position, and we draw amidst a bunch of trades. And I thought I had played very poorly, but in fact, it was near perfect from both of us. Second game, I play against Silas Lund with the white pieces, so I get 2 whites in a row. I was playing the Berlin with white. I sacked the exchange somewhere, unsoundly, and as I usually do, and I win. And what's funny is Oakville is about an hour away from my house. Yeah. So what would I do? Between the rounds, there was the round would start something at 11, and the next round would be at 5. And so there would be plenty of time. So I'd finish round 2, I'd come back, talk to my dad, take a nap, and then drive back there. And the day I won't forget is day, I believe it was the 4th day, where I was playing Jason Liang and Joshua Postuma, both in their 2300s. And against Jason Liang, I'm white. I go for a very brazen attack in the King's Indian attack. Position doesn't go too well for me. I'm losing. We trade queens. I go for some unsound attack, but he doesn't really stop it. He doesn't contain my attack, so I keep pushing. He eventually allows me to break through, and I'm able to mate him. Yeah. Postuma was the panic because at this point I had basically beaten everyone and just drawn 2 games. I had something like, what was it, 6 out of 7, I want to say, or 5 out of 6. No, I had 5 out of 6. And Postuma doesn't come. 10 minutes come by. And usually I show up 5 minutes late. He's not there. 10 minutes, 15 minutes late. He doesn't come. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. The arbiter is panicking. He's trying to get every arbiter he knows to call Joshua Postuma to get him to come to the playing hall. What Joshua Postuma didn't know is that the tournament times had changed because it was a weekend day.
Wow.
He eventually comes on his own time, and he comes 45 minutes late. And the game actually goes quite easily for me. He's with the white pieces. He tries to play the 1b3 against me. He doesn't really I know what he's doing. I caught him off surprise on like the 4th move. He claims that he prepped, and I was able to win. All I needed to do in the last 2 rounds was to get half out of 2, and I was going to secure the title. I had Tanguy Migaud and Nicolas Vitesse. Yep. And as I drive, I'm thinking to myself, just relax. It's going to be okay. You're playing against a guy who has something like 1.5 out of 8. Both of the remaining 2 players were near the bottom of the tournament, whereas I was obviously at the top. Okay, I gotta play against Tanguy. I'm white. And I'm telling myself I can destroy him. That's because that's the mindset I'm in. I've just been beating everyone. Nothing against this man, because clearly even how he's playing now, he and I are about the same level. But I was just in the mindset where I was feeling so incredibly.
My family, my village's massacre. Exactly. Yeah. You know, it's funny. I was actually talking to a friend, and he was explaining he was trying to take out this guy because it was personal, and he's like, mentally like building it up, like you killed my family, my daughter, my son, and you just destroyed him on the floor. Like it was nothing.
To be honest, I nothing against this guy. I mean, I didn't know him too well.
Yeah.
The only thing I knew because he recently came to Canada was the fact that he played my father in a few months prior, and he was dead loss, and my father blundered and he won. So based off this just pure anecdote, I was feeling like, okay, this guy, it's not like the worst pairing in the world. Anyways, I'm white. I'm better throughout the opening. I'm playing the Queen's Gambit with the white pieces. I rarely play d4, so he couldn't prepare for me. And I play this dubious move that opens up my king, but basically forces him to make a perpetual, or else he's worse. He does it, and I mean, I had offered him a draw 10 to 50 moves prior, which he declined. And so, okay, we finally get the draw, and I had already started teaching a little bit during that time, chess teaching. And so a bunch of my students' parents had started congratulating me. And before the last round started, the tournament arbiter and organizer, Ken Green, says, we have a new international master. His name is Mark Plotkin. And I'm just sitting there, and the whole room, there's like about 150 people there. They all applaud me. And it was really, that is a moment that you'll never forget. I play Nicolas Vitesse. I win, even though it was actually a very difficult game. The position was closed. Obviously, he wanted a draw just to get his tournament over with. He wasn't doing well.
Yeah.
But my dad had called me. He congratulated me, and he said, "Hey, Mark, you're playing with house money. Like it's the last game. Who cares?
House money.
You have nothing to lose. Just keep playing. Just don't be a goofball. Don't blow it, and don't go for the draw. Just play because you have nothing to lose. You're ready to secure the title." And so I said, "All right, fine." And so I played Nicolas Vitesse. For like 60 moves. It's an absolute deadlock position. I eventually break through and I win. I score 7.5 out of 9, a whole point more than I need to do to get the norm. And I was feeling like, man, I am now invincible. Now I should be playing more terms to get that GM title. I hit my live rating of 2435. And so I was feeling like, okay, I'm about to graduate. I was going to graduate in April 2020. And I was like, okay, great. So after April 2020, I can dedicate some time to
April 2020.
And so there it is. After and in March, the world ends basically. Everything closes down. And I had studied a little bit with a few friends in March and April, but I